So you're looking to pick up English vocabulary more quickly.
Yeah, I think most people are.
And, who wouldn't want to boost their listening comprehension, maybe nail their pronunciation and speak more confidently faster?
Absolutely. That's the dream for a lot of language learners.
Well, today we're going to really dig into a specific resource to see how it actually works. It's an excerpt from the Master American English podcast.
Okay.
And our mission basically is to pull out the useful vocabulary, understand the conversational flow, the nuances, and spot the actual learning methods they're demonstrating.
So it's not just passive listening. It's about the how.
Exactly. Understanding how to learn effectively.
And what's really interesting right off the bat is the structure they use in this clip. It's not just random chat. No, it's clearly built around a 4-part exercise. You've got listening practice, then vocabulary focus, then a listen and answer section, and finally shadowing.
Okay, that framework itself sounds like it offers some insights into their method.
Definitely. It suggests a, pretty thoughtful approach to learning, multifaceted.
Okay, so let's dive into part 1 then, the listening practice. The scenario is pretty simple, right? Just 2 colleagues, Lily and Jake.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about a meeting, figuring out if they both need to go.
Super relatable office chat. And the key thing happens pretty quickly. Lily asks Jake, "Did I get that right?"
Yes.
It sounds basic, but it's such a crucial communication tool, isn't it? Checking your understanding in real time.
Totally. She's making sure she hasn't misunderstood him thinking the meeting's only for managers.
Right. It prevents mistakes down the line.
Such a valuable little phrase. Did I get that right? It avoids so much confusion.
Yeah.
And then you see the information exchange. Jake says he thinks it's about budget planning.
Which prompts Lily to say, hey, maybe we should double check with Sarah.
So it's a mini problem, proposed solution, and then a clear action. Lily's going to message Sarah.
Exactly. And if you step back, this whole listening part really highlights that learning isn't just, recognizing words on a page. Right. It's about actively processing meaning, understanding, intention. That little back and forth, the initial confusion, the step to verify, that's how real conversations work.
Okay, that makes sense. So next up is part 2, vocabulary.
Here they break down some key bits from that chat.
And first up is that phrase we just mentioned, did I get you right?
Mm-hmm. And they explain it clearly. Use it to confirm understanding.
They give that example too. We will meet at 5 p.m. Did I get you right? B, yes, you got me right. Simple, clear.
And seeing it used in context like that is really effective, I think. It's not just a definition floating in space. You see how it works in an exchange.
You can see yourself using it.
Precisely. As a tool for confirmation.
Okay. Then there's budget planning, defined as the process of deciding how much money to spend and save.
Right. And again, they give a really grounded example. We are doing budget planning for our holiday to avoid spending too much.
Which makes perfect sense. It connects it to real life, not just work jargon.
Exactly. It makes the phrase feel more usable, more versatile. You could use it for work finances or, planning a trip.
Then the third one is double check.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, to check something again to make sure it is correct. And the example is about checking test answers.
Please double check your answers before you hand in the test. It underlines that idea of accuracy, verification.
Which is important in any language, really. Avoid those little errors.
Definitely.
Now, this next bit I found quite striking. Right after the vocabulary, they give a direct learning tip.
Ah, yes, the reminder about repetition.
Yeah, they literally say, I want to remind you something, guys. Repetition is very important to become fluent in English. So watch this video many times, try to answer the questions out loud, and you will improve your speaking skills quickly.
And that kind of explicit advice is gold, isn't it? They're not just giving you the language, they're coaching you on how to learn it.
Right, that emphasis on repetition and speaking aloud actively.
Yeah.
That directly tackles that goal of getting better faster.
Absolutely. Repetition, especially linked with actively trying to recall or use the language, really helps cement things in your brain. It strengthens those neural pathways, makes things easier to grab when you need them.
Okay, good point. So that brings us to part 3, listen and answer practice.
Mm-hmm. And this section really treats learning as an active process, something you do.
How so?
Well, it poses specific questions about that Lily and Jake conversation. It makes you engage directly.
Right, like asking, did Lily ask Jake if he is going to the picnic? Which, corrects a possible mishearing right away.
Exactly. Or asking, why isn't Jake going to the meeting? It forces your brain to pull that information out, to actively retrieve it from memory.
Active recall.
Precisely. It's way more effective than just passively rereading something. It's like, Looking at a dumbbell versus actually lifting it. Answering questions is the lifting part for your brain. Makes the memory stronger.
I like that analogy. And there's a whole series of questions, right? Covering who said what, the plan.
Yeah, like Lily using, did I get you right? Hot. Jake mentioning the budget planning, the idea to check with Sarah before lunch. It covers the key points.
It's like a little comprehension quiz.
A workout, yeah. And they point out this practice helps boost both speaking and listening. Because by trying to answer, maybe even saying the answer out loud,
you're bridging the gap between understanding and actually producing the language yourself.
Exactly. Active engagement.
Okay, makes sense. And finally, part 4. Shadowing practice.
Right. Now, shadowing, for anyone unfamiliar, is basically listening to a speaker and then immediately trying to copy them, reading aloud right after them.
Focusing on the rhythm, the intonation, how it all sounds.
Exactly. Mimicking. And the podcast gives specific lines from Jake and Lily's chat to practice with.
Like Jake saying, "Are you going to the meeting later?" Or, "No, I think it's only for managers."
And then Lily's lines, "Oh, so you believe we don't need to join? Did I get you right?" And H, maybe we should double check with Sarah.
And then, wait, there's that little inconsistency here, isn't there? In the shadowing part, Lily says, "Good idea. Let's ask Herbie before lunch."
Ah, yeah. Earlier it was Sarah. Good catch. It seems like maybe a small slip in the original recording or script.
Yeah, maybe. But the core technique, the shadowing itself, is still the focus.
Absolutely. That minor point doesn't really change the value of the exercise. You also get Jake's lines like, "Exactly, I heard it's about budget planning," and "Thanks, Lily, let me know what she says."
So the main goal is mimicking those native speaker sounds.
Right. It's about internalizing the flow, the stress patterns, the pronunciation, getting your mouth and brain used to the physical act of making those English sounds correctly. It helps you pick up the music of the language.
The melody, yeah, I get that.
It engages different parts of your brain, even the motor cortex involved in speech production.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, this look inside the Master American English podcast excerpt really does show some practical techniques, doesn't it? Things you could actually use.
Definitely. We've seen active listening for meaning, not just words. We've seen focused vocabulary learning in context.
Right, and that self-testing with questions active recall, plus the shadowing for pronunciation and flow.
And bringing it back to you, the listener, the key thing is that by breaking down just this one piece of content, you've hopefully picked up some solid strategies.
It's not just about what vocabulary they taught, but how they taught it. The exercises, the structure.
Exactly. It could be a model for how you look at other learning materials you use.
Okay, so here's a final thought to chew on then. How consistently applying these 4 techniques, active listening, contextual vocab, self-quizzing, and shadowing, how much could that speed up your path to English fluency?
Yeah, think about it. What other podcasts or videos or articles could you analyze like this? Digging deeper to find their hidden teaching value.
Moving from just consuming content passively
to actively mastering the language.
Yeah.
Something to consider.